Well, Jerry, thanks for joining us.
It's great to see you, Tom.
It's wonderful to have Sun as part of the OIS family and in ophthalmology. Let's start at the beginning. Why, we talked about this in the podcast, but why Sun has an interest in ophthalmology and why now?
Well, when you look at the different therapeutic categories within medicine in general and pharmaceuticals, and you look at the dynamic space that ophthalmology presents to a business, it makes the perfect entry point for Sun as they're looking to enter the U.S. in branded pharmaceuticals. And specifically, they identified ophthalmology as one particular area that they saw as a major growth opportunity within pharmaceuticals that they want to participate in addition to some other therapeutic areas they're now entering, which include oncology, dermatology, and neurosciences. But ophthalmology is an area that our CEO has been focused on, and we have now been in the space just coming up on 2 years.
That's an interesting mix. I mean, you see sort of the parallels between aesthetics or dermatology and ophthalmology. They're always kind of compared. Neuroscience is a bit far afield from that, but those three great growth areas. What was your plan going into building your ophthalmology practice, and how has that sort of played out? Has it followed the script?
Sure. So on the different therapeutic areas that Sun has entered, with ophthalmology being one of their lead programs, I think all of them are in that specialized field of medicine and pharmaceuticals, and that allows the company to be uber focused on those specialty areas rather than looking in the primary care sector. So that's one of the strategic reasons why they focused in on those therapeutic areas. When you look at ophthalmology as a whole of what we've been able to do, it has followed script of what we expected, and you have your ups and your downs. But most of all, if you put the right people in place, you bring in intelligent leaders, really the script has gone very well for us. And if you look over the past year in particular, just the last 12 months, we've gone from a nucleus of 4 leaders in the business to now over 120 employees just in the ophthalmic business, which takes into account 85 ophthalmic account managers throughout the United States, which are now launching one of our lead programs. So it has followed script, but with any business and any startup of any new business, you have your bumps and bruises, but that's the reason why we do what we do.
Is 85 is it a regular number? Is it a high number, a low number? It sounds, for just the U.S., it sounds like that's a real healthy number, like you're really saturating the area.
It's a great question. When you look at the legacy of pharmaceutical ophthalmic companies in the space, and you look at the anterior segment in particular, which is a category we're participating in, you can see anywhere from 80 to 120 representatives for a typical anterior segment sales force. Obviously not taking into account dry eye, the dry eye segment, which is much larger. When you look at Allergan and Shire, they have much larger sales forces focused in on dry eye disease. But when you look at anterior segment, whether it's anti-infectives, non-steroidals, corticosteroids, allergy, products like that, generally the sales forces range anywhere from 80 to 120. So we feel really good where we're at for our inaugural launch into the space.
That's a great number. And you mentioned the past year you launched Brahms Site, and that was through an acquisition, the acquisition of Insight. You acquired Ocular Technology. Tell us a bit about those acquisitions and what they brought.
Sure. The first order of business when we started the business in June 2015 was quickly going out and identifying opportunities for the business to expand through M&A, through in-licensing, and also internal development programs. So at the forefront of the merger and acquisition scope of the company was Insight Vision. We were very attracted to that business. They have been very successful getting products to market. In particular, Insight Vision is responsible for products that contain Durasite drug delivery technology. Azasite's been on the market since 2007, very successful. Besivance by Bausch & Lomb also has Durasite, and that's been on the market. And now you look at Brahms Site, which was its lead program pending FDA approval, and we felt that it was a significant shot on goal for us to acquire the company for Brahms Site and its very late stage opportunity to get into the business, but also the pipeline is rich with other products that we are currently working on right now to bring to market. So Insight was a perfect acquisition as a starting point for the company. So as we proceeded into this past year and building the business and looking at a pipeline, we identified a major gap in our portfolio, which was dry eye disease. So we went out and did a comprehensive review of all the dry eye programs that were currently in existence by other companies, and we identified through Ocular Technologies that their program, OTX-101, which is 0.09% cyclosporin A ophthalmic solution in a unique patented nanomicellar drug delivery technology, which was late stage, had a successful phase 2b/3, and was pending results of a confirmatory phase 3. We believe that program was the best program available, late stage, and gave us an incredible shot on goal as it relates to this dynamic segment as dry eye disease.
Was that a competitive process, or did you go in there yourself and just make them an offer they obviously didn't refuse?
Well, I'm not really sure behind the scenes if it was competitive with other companies. We focused in on how we value the business, how we looked at the business, and where we wanted to take the business. And we had discussions with Ocular Technologies, and there was a real good fit, both from a chemistry standpoint in terms of relationships that we developed through the process. But most importantly, we really believed in their technology, their product, and it was especially late stage, and that's really where we want to be as a company.
And have you had any sort of progress to report on the dry eye product?
So very good question. So as soon as we completed the close of the transaction with Ocular Technologies, about a month later, the data for the confirmatory phase 3 trial, which was pivotal for us, did get released in January of 2017, and it was successful. We achieved our key primary endpoint and also several secondary endpoints, and we were extremely happy with the results. So it really made the transaction a very good move for Sun.
So you mentioned the launch of Brahms Site. How has that gone so far? I know it's only been a couple of months, but anything to report?
Yes, it's been an exciting 4 months. We launched right at the very end of November 2016. So we've been in market 4 to 5 months, and we've had an extremely strong launch. Brahms Site has been accepted by the doctors nationwide, both in ophthalmology and optometry. In the first 4 months, we have already achieved over a 12% market share in the branded nonsteroidal space, which is very much above our expectations. And we are averaging now over 14,000 prescriptions a month for Brahms Site, which has been, again, beyond what we forecasted. And really, the sales force has over-delivered on all expectations. So we're thrilled at the uptake of Brahms Site, the acceptance by the doctors, and most of all, what it's providing to those patients that are undergoing cataract surgery for the prevention of pain and the treatment of inflammation. So we've been extremely pleased with our inaugural launch of the business and our first product.
I bet. To what do you attribute that success? It's it's a competitive space, but to grab that large a piece so soon.
It's been a very competitive space. Yeah. I mean, there's been a number of products that have been entrenched, which is a good thing because it gives you a foundation on which to be a part of and also build. I'm a big believer, the more players in the market, the greater the opportunity, the more growth opportunity within the market, and everyone gets their fair share. So for us, really the expectations that we have achieved have been by our sales force, well-trained. We had a number of months before launch, so we really made sure the market was ready for our launch. But most of all, it's the product has performed extremely well. There's one thing you can say about clinical trials and the results, but there's another thing that when it comes to the market, how does it do day in, day out for the doctors? And we have received nothing but great responses from the physicians, how it treats the patients, and just overall that acceptance and the bandwidth of resources we have put on the brand have really produced the results that we're very proud of.
That has to make you feel good. So what's next for the next year or two? Are you walking around the halls with a list of companies you're keeping your eye on for potential acquisitions going forward?
Yeah, sure. So we have a lot on our plate right now, Tom, as you can tell.
Sure.
So if you look, in the past 24 months, we built the business from 0 to 120 employees. We made an acquisition of Inside Vision. We got Brahms Site approved by the FDA. We launched Brahms Site, which has been very successful. We acquired Ocular Technologies with their lead program, OTX-101. We received confirmatory positive phase 3 results on the program. And now, as we speak, we plan on meeting with the regulators to decide our next course of action as it relates to that program. So it's been a fun 24 months, and we have a lot to do, but definitely we have a number of other areas that we're focused in on within ophthalmology, areas that we consider that would strengthen our overall portfolio, and there's definitely companies that we're speaking with that would really hit within that sweet spot of where we want to be.
Great. Well, we look forward to following the story, and I hope talking about more progress at next year's OIS.
That'd be great. Thank you very much, Tom.